If I asked you today how much money your customers owe you, would your answer be accurate? In this video, I'm going to show you what types of things might make your accounts receivable balance deceiving. By the way, before we even get into it, if you click the link in the description below, I've actually given you my free report. 4 tips you can use in the service industry to collect customer payments faster. When you look at your balance sheet, you may notice that there is a line item on there called accounts receivable. That is the balance owed to you by your customers. So it's sales that you've made but haven't been yet paid for. And if I were to ask you today, how much money do your customers owe you, you could look at that number and tell me the number. So if we look over here at this sample company, we see that they have an accounts receivable balance of $52.81.52. But is that balance accurate? And I'm going to show you some ways that might make this number a little bit off or a lot off. There are probably numerous reasons that this number could be off, but the 3 that we're going to cover today are old balances that have been deemed uncollectible. Number 2 is old customer credits that have not been paid back or cleaned up. And number 3 is prepayments or down payments. Let's start with number 1, old balances that have been deemed uncollectible. So we're going to drill into the details of this accounts receivable number by running an accounts receivable aging summary report. If you're using QuickBooks Online, you can find that report under Reports. And then if you just search here, accounts receivable, you're looking for the aging summary at this time. So once we have that up, we can see the details of who owes us money and how far past due those amounts are. So we're looking at old balances that have been deemed uncollectible. So the very first place that I would look for old balances that maybe are no longer collectible would be in the 91 and over category over here. So what that's saying is these invoices are past due by at least 90 days, if not more. And I would click on each one of those to see, just how old is this particular invoice. So we have this one here, and it is from a year ago, more than a year ago, actually. And so the question that I would ask is there any chance we're going to collect on this invoice? Have we made attempts to collect this invoice, but in vain? And if the answer is we're not going to collect it, and we have made attempts to collect it, and our attempts have gone unnoticed or unanswered, then we probably want to write this off to bad debt. And I'm not going to get into that for the purposes of this video, but the point is that this is a number that probably is increasing the balance that your customers owe you and making it look deceiving because this money will never be collected. So we need to remove it off of our report. So moving on to item number 2, old customer credits that have not been paid back or cleaned up. So now what I would be looking for is any negative numbers on this report that would indicate to me that this customer has a credit that either hasn't been applied to an open invoice or there is no open invoice to apply the credit to. Maybe it was an overpayment or, just an error, or who knows what the reason is. So I'm looking for any negative numbers on the report, and I can see that there's one over here. So I'm going to take a look at that. Okay, so this is back from 2019, and I would say at this point, he's had a credit on his account. He obviously hasn't purchased anything else to apply the credit to. So at this point, you would want to clean this up because what it's doing is it's decreasing the number that is owed to you. So it's making it look like there's less money owed to you than there actually is. So you would want to clean that up. And the right way to clean this up would be to, first of all, verify with Video Games by Dan that they actually realize there's a credit on the account. If you've determined that the credit is valid, then you should refund the credit to the customer. And then finally, the last item that can affect the balance would be if you collect prepayments or down payments from your customers, and you do so by just recording them as a payment and then leaving them sit on their account as a credit until you later create the invoice for them. So some examples of that would be here. So Duke's basketball camp put a down payment down of $600, and Dylan Solfrank prepaid $6,000 towards some work that's going to be happening maybe sometime in the future. So that's $6,600 that is showing, it's making it look like your customers have overpaid you by $1,393. Because if we go back and we look at our balance sheet here, you're seeing that our accounts receivable balance is showing as a negative, which means that we owe our customers $1,393, but we know that's not really right. So that's why down payments and prepayments can throw your numbers off. So it's important to either know that they're there and adjust your balance accordingly, or there's actually another way to do it, which I have another video on how to handle down payments and prepayments, which I will link in the description below. So you can go and check out that video. But you can see how those types of things can throw off the number. So these are just a few tips to help you understand exactly what might be throwing off your number, or at least just making you aware that your number may not be as accurate as you think. I have given you 3 things that might be deceiving you when it comes to knowing how much money your customers owe you. But if you want to know more about how you can reduce or eliminate your accounts receivable, click the link in the description below to download my free report, 4 tips you can use in the service industry to collect customer payments faster. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel. Comment below, do you collect down payments or prepayments from your customers? Thanks for watching, and see you next time.